Hello, my name is Mariah Stendel. I am a clinical psychology student at the University of Oregon. Thank you for coming to my poster, Self-esteem modulates self-other neural pattern correspondence during interpersonal perception. So let's dive in. The medial prefrontal cortex, or the MPFC, is a region in the brain that is associated with a variety of cognitive processes, but really quite consistently with self-reference, social cognition, evaluation, all processes that converge in the concept of self-esteem. We also know that the MPFC is quite important in interpersonal perception, with recent work actually demonstrating that when you think of yourself and when your friends think of you, we see correspondence between neural activation patterns in this region. So together, these findings open the possibility that the degree of this overlap might be associated with individual differences in self-esteem. So to address this question, we used a round-robin dataset where we recruited over 100 subjects who all belong to different small social groups. And crucially, everyone in the group participated in a self-other trait judgment task, wherein they were asked to reflect on themselves along with all other members of the group. So then we could use this round-robin design to look at two types of self-other overlap. So depicted here is the first measure of overlap, where we would look at how much your MPFC activity pattern, while reflecting on yourself, corresponded with the aggregated MPFC activity pattern when your peers are thinking of you. And in the second, we would look at the degree to which your MPFC activity patterns, while thinking of your peers, matched their patterns when they were thinking of themselves in an aggregate. So next, we can examine whether your self-esteem is associated with these two different types of overlap. So firstly, we did find a consensus effect, which replicated the work from Chavez and Wagner that I mentioned before, just in a larger sample size with more groups. So here you can see the effect just depicted for one target, where there is a correlation between voxel activity when an individual is thinking of themselves and when their peers are thinking of them. And next, we found that these consensus effects were significantly associated with self-esteem, whereby a target with higher self-esteem would A, have a greater degree of neural consensus between their self-representation and how their peers represented them in the MPFC, and B, would also represent their peers more closely to how their peers represented themselves. So these findings contribute to theoretical models of self-esteem, which I'd be happy to discuss more during my poster session, and also suggest that accurate interpersonal perception, or being viewed accurately by our peers and accurately viewing our peers, might confer social and psychological benefits, offering one possible neural mechanism to explain the known reciprocal connection between social support and self-esteem. Thank you so much for listening.